How does Spring Boot auto-configuration work? Imagine building a web application where most of the setup happens automatically, saving you time and effort. That's what Spring Boot auto-configuration does for backend development. It looks at what you include in your project and sets up the right tools for you. When you add dependencies like web servers or databases, Spring Boot scans your project's class path to see what's there. For example, if you include the starter for web applications, it recognizes Spring MVC, an embedded Tomcat server, and JSON libraries. These are all part of the auto-configuration process. Spring Boot has many auto-configuration classes, each responsible for different parts of your app. These classes are marked with special annotations and are listed in a file called Spring Factories inside the auto-configuration jar. This setup tells Spring Boot which configurations to consider when your app starts. Each auto-configuration class uses conditions to decide whether to activate. It checks if certain classes, beans, or properties are present. For example, if an embedded database driver is on the class path and you haven't set up your own database, Spring Boot will automatically configure an in-memory database for you. This way, it avoids overriding your custom settings. To turn on auto-configuration, you add the annotation called Enable Auto Configuration or use Spring Boot's main annotation, Spring Boot Application. The latter includes auto-configuration, component scanning, and other features. When your application starts, Spring Boot reads these annotations and begins the auto-configuration process. It's designed to be flexible. If you want to customize anything, you can define your own beans or configuration classes. For example, if you create your own data source bean, Spring Boot will skip the default database setup. This automatic setup is especially helpful for backend developers working with APIs, databases, and server-side logic. It configures embedded web servers like Tomcat or Jetty so you can deploy APIs quickly. It also handles database connections and JPA repositories, reducing the amount of boilerplate code you need to write. Plus, it makes integrating messaging systems or cache providers straightforward. Instead of spending hours configuring these components, you can focus on writing your business logic. In short, Spring Boot auto-configuration works by detecting the libraries you include, applying default settings through conditional classes, and letting you override those defaults when needed. It makes building and maintaining backend applications faster and easier, so you can develop robust server-side solutions without getting bogged down in setup details.